And now, independent and unbiased, here's your weekly Brooklyn market update with Noah and John from UrbanDigs.
Hello, everybody. This is Noah and John, and we are from UrbanDigs, and it is Monday, so you're going to get your Brooklyn weekly market update. John, let's get right to it. I'm looking at Brooklyn supply, and it's doing what supply typically does during the listing season beginning. It is starting to go up, 2,896 things trying to sell. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, that's a 3% increase or so on the week before that. And this is the second week in a row we've seen an increase. But no, if you look at those bars and lines, we are still below where we were in 2022, 2021. So even though supply in Brooklyn is rising little bits at a time, we're still sort of low supply here.
Yeah, and I have a thesis that I think is going to become a narrative for this year. I think it's going to be a light listing season. I just don't think sellers come to the gates when they're not getting the price that they're think they're going to get in the open market. So it's not surprising me to see it start out at a trickle, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. Let's move over to Brooklyn demand pending sales. That looks like it's still trying to find its bottom, Johnny. 1,554 things in contract pending. Show me that chart.
Yeah, and sometimes you think these declines are getting a little bit smaller, but then it ratchets down. And, this was a tick down or down less than 1%. But again, it's down. We're still trying to find that lower level here in pending sales. And, granted, once the listings go out and they start getting signed into contract, we'll probably see this start ticking up. But that's still a month or two away.
Yeah, and again, this is where our market got hit, both in Brooklyn and in Manhattan. We're lucky that we're not seeing a deep price action correction going on, but there has been a severe liquidity correction, and that's in the deal volume. And that's what's going on here. It is slow out there. It's just that sellers are choosing not to participate in this slow market. That's what I'm seeing right here. And as a result, you look at this market pulse in Brooklyn right over here at 0.54. It's kind of at its lows. And this is what happens when the listings first come on. So I would expect this to hang around 54, maybe go down to 53, maybe 52 as the listing season kicks into high gear. And then it's going to probably turn around and come back up as the deals get signed, probably end of February, early March. So we got a ways to go until that starts to happen. Let's go over to the weeklies, Johnny, see if there's any clues there. I'm looking at Brooklyn supply. 193 things came on the market, up 31%. Johnny, show me that chart.
Right. So that's an increase on the week. So you're starting to see those listings come in. But if you zoom back out, right, we're still down roughly over 30%, to like 32% from where we were in terms of what's coming on the market last year. So again, that really plays into your point of perhaps a light listing season ahead.
Yeah, it's just, sellers are just like, they're going to wait. They're going to wait until they think they can get their bid. And until that's going to happen, you're going to have a tight inventory market. And I think that tighter inventory market is just muting the depth of this down cycle so far. We're going to have to follow it to see how this follows through, Johnny. Let's go over to weekly demand in Brooklyn. I see there's 73 deals signed in the last week. That's down 7 ticks. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, this is a low number for Brooklyn, 73. I mean, you're going to have to scroll back through quite a long time to find 73 deals on a weekly level. Now, of course, it was a holiday shortened week last week that may be playing into some of this, but it remains the broader picture here is still in play, which is that demand is down and is remaining down for the time being.
Yeah, and we'll give it a pass this week, but if this doesn't start going back up in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we're going to have to keep an eye on it and maybe have another conversation. I mean, by mid-February, end of February, this should start to go up. We'll keep an eye on it, Johnny. And, we did the price cuts chart for Manhattan last week. We're going to do the price cuts chart for for Brooklyn this week. And I'm looking at the actual median percentage price cut in Brooklyn. It's at 3.7%. And I'm looking at where the number of price cuts in this market, it's low. I mean, we should be low around this time of year. We're even lower than that, So I don't see, right. I mean, what's the purpose of it? I don't see mass pressure. I don't see any desperation. And I don't see anything that buyers would think they would see for a market where the transaction volume came way, way, way down here, Johnny. I don't know.
Right. That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. So if you imagine, if you look at this chart, you wouldn't be able to see any sort of market dislocations or drop in overall demand in this market. I mean, the price cuts, I mean, there's maybe a gentle trend up, up there toward the end of last year, but it seems to have fallen back off. And you wouldn't be able to see here that the number of pending sales for Brooklyn has just been continually headed down since April or so. So that's not showing it. Then Noah, again, if you'll flip over to the weekly level, right, you can look and you can see that little green leg kicking up to start the year. That's where we are right now. And again, that's lower than 2022. And, the beginning of 2022, I mean, Brooklyn was on fire. I mean, that was a hot market. And so to think that sellers are, if you think about price cuts as sellers being concerned, then you think of less price cuts as sellers being less concerned, that would imply that sellers right now are a little bit less concerned than they were during the hot market. So that's it's interesting to me. It's like as if the entire market, and we've said this before, as if the entire market sort of shifted down a notch.
Yeah, and this is why we track these kinds of listings to see whether or not those sellers, what the sentiment is on those sellers. And I mean, and they don't really have much of a choice, right? I mean, the market does what the market wants when the market wants to do it, and they're pretty much at the mercy of that liquidity in the market. They're at the mercy of those bids right there. And what we're really trying to see is, are those asking prices coming down? Are they coming down en masse to the bids? And they're not. And they're not. So this tells me that, again, the depth. I always like to think about the depth and the duration of these down cycles. We're already 7 months. The duration's pretty long. We're already 7 months into this down cycle, but the depth of this down cycle has been muted. And I don't see anything in the data that's suggesting that we're in aggressive decline. Doesn't say that we're in aggressive decline. We've fallen, and I feel like we're just chopping maybe up and down off the bottom here, Johnny.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate assessment.
Well, we're going to end it there. We're out of words to say. That is John Walkup. Thank you so much for pulling up all those charts. Everyone certainly appreciates those, Johnny. I am Noah Rosenblatt. We're both from UrbanDigs. And if you guys got questions, we got answers. Please visit our forum right over here. And if you want any of the charts that John whipped up today, they'll be right over here in just a second. Other than that, this has been your Brooklyn Weekly Market Update, and we'll catch you next time.